conversation. I want to bring in our correspondent in Bayelsa State, Uche Okoro, to give us update from there. Uche, we understand that collation will now resume at noon tomorrow. Tell us more about that and why INEC took that decision.
Very correct, Precious. Collation is going to resume here at 12 noon. Earlier, the Commission had said that from their last recess, they would resume at 6 p.m. But, due to logistics issues, they have now moved that collation to Monday, 12 p.m. The official of INEC who brought that to our notice is the head of public enlightenment and voter education. He announced that the electoral processes in Brass wrapped up pretty late, and because of the terrain and the location of Brass accessible by water, the Commission will be unable to wait for those results to come in from Brass. In his words, said before they wrapped up in Brass, it was late for those results to come in, and it's about 3 to 4 hours by water from Brass to the state capital here, Yenagoa. So that's the reason why the results from Brass cannot be taken tonight. Secondly, we have Southern Ijaw. According to the Commission, due to some logistics issues, security issues, and so on and so forth, election could not be wrapped up yesterday. Actual voting could not be wrapped up yesterday in Southern Ijaw. So I can tell you that today, voting took place in Southern Ijaw, and the Commission is saying that they were unable to wrap up voting and the collation at that level in Southern Ijaw today. And Southern Ijaw is also another local government. It's also another riverine local government. So because of the late conclusion of election activities in those local government areas and the difficulty in the terrain for those local government areas, INEC has now said it can no longer wait today for those results or for collation to take place. Rather, everyone should leave and reconvene tomorrow, 12 noon.
Interesting. One would have thought that Bayelsa would be the first to wrap up because it's just 8 local government. But like you said, the terrain makes it quite difficult in terms of logistics. But you were talking about the crowd at the collation center earlier. What's the situation now?
Well, right now, let me start here. Let me start by talking about what's going on right now inside the INEC headquarters here in Yenagoa. I am still here. You can see behind me a number of persons still seated. These are all election officials still trying to wrap up their business here. So everyone, I believe that any moment from now, people will begin to disperse. But it's also very possible that these persons you see on your screen will pass the night here at the INEC headquarters in Yenagoa, so they can wrap up the activities of whatever it is that they need to do here at the Commission for continuation ahead of the continuation of collation tomorrow here. You'll also see to my if the cameraman can just follow me to this point, you'll also see that behind me to my left there is a very large canopy tent that has been set up for security personnel. Now, these security personnel are still here. They've been here. Many of them have been. This is, like I said, this is like their primary place of deployment. So even though collation has been moved to tomorrow, that security personnel are still very much on ground here to provide security for this place till tomorrow. And then behind the security tent is where you have the collation center. So you see that building just behind the tent, that's the collation center. That's the actual building where collation is taking place. And if you can also see directly behind me, everyone has dispersed from this location. All you can see are the broadcast vans of the various television stations, TVC News included, where are like about the only ones who are still left here. Journalists, a few of us, security personnel, a few INEC staff are the only ones still left here. All party agents have dispersed. Observers have also dispersed. And after now, I'll try to scoop for more information ahead of the resumption of collation tomorrow. After which, some members of the crew, TVC News, will also be leaving this venue.
Do you have any feelers as to what the town looks like at this moment? One can only imagine how residents of Bayelsa State are anticipating the declaration of this result. What's the situation and the atmosphere in town?
You know that we already have 6 local governments taken. So a number of persons, a number of pundits and political watchers and even ordinary residents are beginning to put are beginning to do the plus and minus. Okay, they are beginning to add up the figures. They are beginning to say, they are beginning to look into how many local governments has the PDP taken, how many local governments has the APC taken, or the PDP taken, or the Labour Party, or APGA and the various other political parties. How many local governments have they each taken so far of the 6? They are beginning to add up the figures to see if they can project who the winner is going to be. So that's the mood in the city right now. There's a lot of apprehension as a result of the delay caused by the delay in collation, especially when majority of the local government areas have been taken. Now, the mood in the city perhaps would have been a little bit more relaxed if we've had just 2, 3, or 4, or 2 or 3 or 4 local governments, or rather, 4 local governments. But now you've had about 6 local government areas. It's beginning to create a lot of the delays. Now beginning to create some form of tension in the air. People are beginning to say we already know who the winner is going to be. This delay in collation, there might be some sinister intention to it and so on. So that's the atmosphere right now. The delay is causing some form of tension in the air. People are beginning to ask questions that if we've had 6, why do we have to wait for 2? We already know who the winner is, or that's their projection. So that's the atmosphere. That's the general mood in the city now. It's a bit uneasy. There's an uneasy calm, I'll put it that way, right now in the city. But all is well. From my standpoint, all is well. There doesn't seem to be any viable threat to breakdown of law and order here in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State.
Uche, thank you for that update. I know that you also need to go get some rest ahead of the collation tomorrow. Thank you so much, Uche, for that update. All right, let's take a break. When we return, we will continue with our conversation in the studio. Stay with us.